Here's an interesting thing. You might be fully aware on a surface level what's wrong with your life, what's wrong with you. You may be aware of the fact that your, I don't know, parents are toxic, perhaps, and maybe you have issues drawing boundaries. And then you might be aware of the fact that you are too empathetic with people. And you might know that you don't put yourself first. So you might be aware of all of those things. But here's the deal. The fact that you know that, and maybe you've gone to specialists and they've explained to you how these things work in terms of psychology, right? But just because you're aware of that doesn't mean that you can act accordingly. It doesn't mean that because you know that you are bad at drawing boundaries, that you're going to start drawing them just like that, and all of a sudden you become a completely different person. It just doesn't happen like that. You try that for years, and not a whole lot changes. And it's only during a hypno-coaching session that when you go through the lived experience, you viscerally understand what the whole thing is really about. You don't really understand it with your conscious mind. You experience it and then you feel it. And once you've gone through that experience, then you can change it. That's when the transformation can start happening. But up until the point where you've been working on yourself by understanding how stuff works, just because that's been happening in your life, it doesn't mean much, unfortunately. And just the other day, I had a session with my client, and despite the fact that my client was aware of certain things, they couldn't really grasp those concepts on such a level that it would become a life-changing moment. And then during the session, the click happened and the realization hit home, just because the way the person goes through the lived experience in the session. So, if you have spent long years trying to fix your behavior, just to give you an example, maybe you've been buying self-help books on how to deal with toxic people and how to become a better communicator, all of those things, right? It's a good sign that you are aware of your deficiencies, of things that are not working optimally in your life, right? So if you've been buying these books, now tell me honestly, does the advice from those books, does it work in your life? Well, let me guess, not really, or not much. How do I know that? I've gone through the same experience. I remember about, when was that? 2017? Yeah, that's when I started buying these self-help books myself on how to feel more grounded and how to stop being anxious and all of those sort of things. And when I was reading them, I was feeling very good, because in that particular moment, when you read it, it hits home kinda, and it's like, yeah, it makes sense. There's no need to worry about the future. You just live in the moment, for example, experience the now. So that's what it's all about. And my life changes. It changes while you're reading the page in the book, and then you put the book back on the bookshelf, and off you go into your life, and the same things happen. Again, you find yourself dealing with toxic people, and then you either become too angry, snap out at them, or you end up in a situation where in retrospect you didn't put yourself first. You did something that now comes back and shows you that You're the loser, really. You shouldn't have done that. These sort of things, right? And it happens again and again and again. So what I'm trying to say is, it's all nice and well, but if you want real change, real action, then you gotta come to a specialist, such as me. I'm a hypno coach, and I can guide you through the lived experience. And all of those things that you might understand with your mind, now you will be able to experience them, relive them, and transform yourself. Get rid of the emotions and programs that you don't want, that are not optimal for you, and be able to act differently, have different options.